Hi, everybody. My name is Miss Wall. I am the Gear Up advisor for 9th and 10th grade. And I want to welcome all Lawrence High School students, staff, and our alumni here. This is the first annual College Week and GoHigher event of the year that is put on by Gear Up in conjunction with Work-Based Learning and LHS Media and multiple other partners across the campus. We look forward to our upcoming sessions every day this week except for Wednesday during your CCP class. Today, I'd love to welcome Robert Days and our alumni and Robert Days will be moderating our student panel. But before we jump into our student panel, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Finn to say a few quick words and then we'll get started.
Thank you. I am Mr. Finn. I'm the assistant head of school for the campus. I just wanted to say welcome to the Lower School College Week. Very excited about what's going on this week. I hope all of our students really take advantage of this opportunity that we have in front of them. We have a great student panel today. So I think along with Gear Up and our GoHigher partners, we have always enjoyed some great success here. So I am looking forward to a great week. Go Lancers. I will give it over to Mr. Days.
Thanks so much, Mr. Finn, and thank you, students. I'm very excited to be here to host this student panel. I'm going to introduce our panelists, and we're going to have a series of questions, and we're going to learn a lot from them about their real-life experience in going higher and pursuing their college education to ultimately get into a career that they both enjoy and love. The first student I'm going to introduce is Manassas Himinian. Manassas is a freshman at UMass Lowell studying general biology with a pre-med track. Manassas, would you wave to everybody? Great, that's Manassas. Now I'm going to introduce Elviana de Jesus. Elviana is a sophomore at Boston University studying political science with a minor in Spanish. Elviana, would you wave to all the students, please? Great, and we see she's masked up, doing it right. She's in a public space, so she's taking care of her health and those around her, so we're really glad to have her here. And our final panelist I'm going to introduce is Dario Guerrero. He's a senior at Babson College studying global business management. Dario, would you wait everyone, please? Great. So as you can hear, we've got some fantastic young adults who are studying and pursuing their passion. And I'm going to kick it off by asking a question to all of them. So here they are pursuing their college journey. I want to have them flash back to when they were in the same position as you. When you were in 9th grade or 10th grade, remember those days? I want you to think back to when you were that age. What's some advice? What advice would you give your younger self to get to where you are now? So Manassas, I'm going to start with you. Think back to when you were in 9th grade. Go back to 9th grade Manassas and give him a couple key points of advice that he would benefit from, please.
Thank you, Robert. Good morning, LHS. So an advice that I would give my 9th and 10th grade self would be to take time with the process of looking for schools that will fit you. Also make sure that you can have an opportunity of strategizing what you want to study in the future, because things can change when you enter college.
That's great advice. And I appreciate that kickoff. And Alviana, I'm going to go to you too. What advice would you give your younger self or someone in a similar position in 9th and 10th grade?
Good morning, guys. I think that I will definitely tell students to take their time, but that also enjoy yourself in this process, because I rushed myself through freshman year and thought I had to do a lot of things. But take your time and communicate with teachers and your advisors and get those relationships started, because they can help you a lot along the way.
Well said. Great point about enjoy the time, build relationships. Great point. Dario, what would you say to a younger Dario or students like yourself in 9th, 10th grade?
Well, I'm a little old now, but excuse me, first off, good morning, everybody. So I think that the advice I give to myself, probably my freshman or sophomore year, would kind of to be willing to try new things. I mean, getting started, in your freshman year, trying things that you're not used to could really prepare you, down the road for, being in those positions that, you're learning to find yourself comfortable in the uncomfortable situations. And so really putting yourself out there, trying things that, you're not used to doing, going to events that your friends are at, just kind of getting used to, trying things that, on a regular day basis, you're getting yourself involved into. But yeah, I definitely would probably done that myself.
Great advice. Once again, great advice from all panelists. Building relationships, once again, enjoying the process, and once again, being flexible, doing some things that maybe get you out of the box. So that's great advice. The next question I want to ask our panelists, and Manassas, I'm going to come right back to you. I want you to think back around that age. Did you always want to go to college? Did you always know this? Did you always want to study pre-med? What other options were there out there? Because right now, obviously, there are a lot of options for students. Some might be looking at higher ed, some might be looking at some other options. What about your journey? When did it hit you that this is what you wanted to do, please?
Great question. Well, from middle school, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was very strong on my higher education. My family, especially being raised in a single mother household, I was instilled with the mindset of going to pursue a college degree and even higher, to not have a job or a career, but a profession, as well in society, to be giving help and taking care of those that are needed. So I knew from a very young age that I did want to go into healthcare and to just be immersed within the medical field. So that's why I took biology as a major, but the pre-med track as a focus.
Manassas, that sounds like you were a very focused young man, and your family played an important role in really shaping you and understanding. And I like the way you distinguished. You said not only a career, but a profession. So you really had a vision. So that's exciting. Elviana, tell us about your journey. When did it strike you, or how did you come about to know you wanted to get in, once again, political science and a major in Spanish? How did that come about for you?
So I always, when I was younger, I thought I wanted to be a doctor. So I always knew that I'll have to go to college to do that. But I think that when it struck me was my sophomore year. I participated, well, I applied to the early college program with LHS, and I took classes during my junior and senior year, and I really like discovered myself through those classes, and I knew like this is something I want to do. And it was interesting for me to learn about other things, and that's when it really hit me that this is something for me.
All right. So once again, you leveraged your experience in early college, well done, to explore career paths, and then you discovered, hey, this is a passion of mine, right? So that was well done, Elviana, utilizing those early college classes to find your passion and then pursue it. Dario, how about yourself? When did you know, first of all, higher education was an option for you, and that's something what you wanted to do, and how did it come about, the global business management? I mean, where'd that come from?
No, for sure. I mean, I think that early on, probably even going back to sixth grade, meeting you and, being involved in programs like Gear Up, kind of really instilled the end goal for me of, going to school, high school, getting my diploma, and then, continuing my education and going, to college. But then in particular with global business management, it kind of goes to the kind of piece of advice that I gave, which was trying new things. And so in my junior year here at Babson, I was lucky and fortunate enough to go abroad for the entirety of my junior year. And so kind of through that experience, I was able to really learn kind of what I was interested in, or, interested in pursuing as a concentration here at Babson. And so after I noticed I had checked a lot of classes off, I decided to kind of pursue that concentration and, obviously see the benefits of it, and also take away from the experiences that I had abroad as well. So it's definitely a I like to say a fun way to kind of learn what is something that I wasn't used to at the end of the day.
And we got to ask, where did you wind up studying abroad?
No, of course. And so in the fall semester of my junior year, I went to Berlin, Germany. And so I was there for the entirety of my fall semester. And then in the spring semester, I fell in love with going abroad. And so I went abroad again, and I went to South America on a multi-city program. And so we started in Argentina, and we're supposed to go to Peru and Chile. But with COVID, we were sent home a little early, unfortunately. Yeah. But I mean, all in all, it was a great experience, to be able to travel two ends of the world in a matter of a year. And so it was definitely an amazing opportunity.
Outstanding. Once again, great insight from all students. with regards to how they came about both their career path, pursuing a profession, getting exposure through early college, and then being open-minded and taking some shots, some things you're going to like, some things you're going to say, hey, I'm going to cross that off the list. And then they came to the discovery of this is the path I want to pursue. And that's going to set them up really well for life down the road also, because it doesn't just end once you get into college. That mindset is going to continue to drive their careers forward. Very exciting. Once again, I want you to flash back to ninth grade. What things can students do to prepare for ultimately this career path that they may pursue in higher education? Manassas, looking back, was there something you did in ninth grade or would do, whether it's academically, athletically, involvement? What did you do, or what recommendations would you make for students in ninth and 10th grade to prepare for this journey and make it successful?
Yes. So freshman and sophomore year, I remember I was taking everything seriously because that was the foundation of my higher education. From the get-go, I made sure I had a planner. I used the calendar. So I try to keep myself organized, also keep my time organized to use it at a wise usage, as well as being a student with extracurricular activities. So after I was done with school in the morning and the afternoon, in the evening, I would make sure that I would either go volunteering or participate in sport that would be part of the school team. And just reaching out to my professors, to my teachers, as you would say, and also to outside programs that have connections with college and summer programs to prep you for college. So just making sure that you do your research, talk to your teachers, make sure that they understand that you have a passion about pursuing your higher education and that you are taking it seriously.
Great summary. I'm going to pull out 2 points that you really hit. Number one is the one we hear most commonly, which is how important time management and organization is. And I like the way you talked about there's a tool you use. Some people use Outlook calendar or whatever have, but practicing time management is the number one request or concept that students say, boy, I wish I was better at that. Because when you're in high school, everybody's scheduling your life. But it sounds like you took that seriously as a young person, Manassas, and wove in some extracurriculars with that. You made a really important point there, okay? So I just wanted to highlight that. And then staying connected is what you also said. Elviana, how about you? As you flash back and think about what students can do, like I said, it can be academic, social, family, anything that you think at that age and stage would help, once again, success as people move forward.
Yes, so I think that one thing that I really focused on doing was asking about programs to do, like during the summer, during the school year. And I actually ended up doing my sophomore year in particular a program called Mass Start, and we went to a conference and I was surrounded by other students, and that's also a good way to discover the things that you want to do when you hear other students and what they're doing and with their backgrounds. I also participated in a program with MIT and discovered that STEM was not for me. So I think these are the type of things that get students exposed and also to discover what they want to do. And they're very fun also, great experiences.
Oh yeah, I think you made a great point. Continue to explore. Find out things, and it's so important people find out both what they like and what they don't like. And you said, hey, I took this summer course at MIT, great opportunity, but you cross some things off the list. That's critical. So you can focus in on things that really excite you and that you want to pursue. So that's, once again, continue to explore, cross things off the list, highlight things that really excite you and that you want to pursue and stay connected. Once again, Dario, how about you? What elements or what steps would you say would lead to success, once again, at that young age?
No, for sure. So luckily, I was very fortunate to have had a sister that had just graduated high school when entering high school myself. And so kind of having that example of seeing someone pursue higher education was definitely an important factor in kind of my decision in going, pursuing my own higher education. But to kind of echo what both Manassas and Elviana said was kind of, getting connected, trying out new programs. So in my freshman year, I was playing sports at Lawrence High as well. And then, going to after school programs on days that, I didn't have a game, and kind of making that agreement with my coach, making sure that, we are a student before we are an athlete. And so kind of making that a priority, going along the process. And so staying connected, as as we said, making sure you're asking those right questions to your teachers, what's out there for you. The people that are at LHS or in general, in the Lawrence School public system, are resources for all students. And so take advantage of those resources. And really make sure that, once again, you're asking those questions, finding things that interest you, and then also allow you to explore the next couple of years as well, as you find things you're interested in and want to pursue down the line.
Great summary. Stay connected, stay open-minded, and explore. Those are some of the strong themes that are coming through. I'm going to keep us moving here. There are a couple other questions I want to get to. I want to talk about your transition from high school to college. That's important because I want to talk about both the challenges you ran into, things that maybe you didn't anticipate would be tough. If some of it's financial and you want to talk about that, but think about your transition from high school to college, what challenges you ran into. Manassas, what things sort of stuck out along your journey that you had to overcome?
Yes, well, unfortunately, my senior year, the beginning of my senior year, I suffered a concussion. So I lost 2.5 months of my senior year, and that impacted my application process. However, I continued to pursue my application process, and with the help and resources at Lawrence High, especially with Gear Up, I was able to receive that extra push to get my applications due before the deadline. Absolutely. Being hit with the pandemic was a critical factor that impacted everyone, especially seniors at that time, and especially first year freshman students right now. That transition affected most students, myself, I can attest to, emotionally, mentally, and physically. I was not used to learning at home. The environment changed, as well as teaching myself these courses that were legitimately at a higher level than I was to expect to be receiving the teachings, but I was teaching myself. However, there are many students that I do know and that I am in touch with that have unfortunately dropped out or took a pause and took a semester to, relocate where they at and go back the next semester. But I continue to push because I didn't want to give up. Also, once I'm given this opportunity, I want to take advantage and make the best of it, because I know this opportunity can't be taken for granted. So every day I remind myself that I have been given the grateful opportunity and advantage to pursue a higher education when there's so many students that aren't in a situation that cannot. So I'm not only doing this for myself, but I'm also doing it for those students.
Well said, Manassas. You cover a lot, my friend. COVID and the impact on your class. I mean, your class is the first to feel the effects of COVID. And you're right. There's nationally, globally, there's been a tremendous burden on students' health, psychological, all around. So thanks for sharing and then your own health experience. So thanks for sharing that. Elviana, how about you? What challenges, highlights, successes, what things struck that you, once again, didn't anticipate along your journey?
Yes, so I think there was two things that were very surprising to me once I got into college. The first one is financial aid. I think that seeing all the loans and seeing all of these packages was very stressful, also because I'm a first generation student. My parents didn't know much about it, and I'm very grateful I had Gear Up because Mona, she went with me every step of the way. She is amazing, and I'm very grateful for her. But then the other challenge was, academics. When you come into college, I feel like I was like, okay, I'm prepared. All these classes are going to be easy. And sometimes you're in classes that are hard, which students are perhaps more exposed to you in certain topics. And I was scared to ask questions because I was like, I don't want to look dumb. I don't want to seem like I'm not as prepared as these other students. So I think it is crucial to ask questions if you don't know things, and it's part of the process of learning and of growing as a student and a professional. So I think those were the two biggest challenges.
Elviana, that is a fantastic point about because all of us feel overwhelmed at some point. And your choice, your decision was to not let that silence you, to not step back or derail you. So that's a big part of your growth. So congratulations on pushing through and saying, I'm not worried about that. I have to get my questions answered. And once again, not letting any type of shame get in the way of that. So congratulations on becoming a better learner. Dario, what about yourself? What challenges did you run into? Once again, could be social, could be family, could be financial, could be just a transition. Tell us about your transition, my friend.
For sure. So I mean, originally when transitioning to Babson, I was one of the first students from Lawrence High School to attend Babson. And so it was a very different transition for me, not having an alumni from Babson, from Lawrence that I could communicate with or, ask any questions. So there was definitely that challenge in itself. But then culturally, there was definitely a big cultural shift for me as well. Going from a predominantly Hispanic city like Lawrence and Lawrence High School in particular, I was so very accustomed to being around people that were like me, coming from similar backgrounds, financially, socially, and things like that. And then transitioning to Babson, it was very different. We are a very diverse school when you look at their statistics, but obviously there are certain statistics that definitely make that gap between me and the average student here very different. Financially, obviously, students are coming from wealthier backgrounds. And so I struggled at first feeling that I didn't fit in, not coming from, going on vacation every summer with my family or, having a vacation home on the Cape or whatever it may be. And so, having not being able to relate to students was definitely a struggle of mine. But then, eventually putting myself out there and finding people that were like me and joining organizations that, put me in those positions to feel that Babson was going to be my second home was definitely something that made the transition a lot easier. And then another thing I'd like to echo was just kind of educational wise, the leap from being in high school to college and having the load of work increase and the difficulty of it as well. And then, having to plan on your own, getting your help for, certain assignments, and, really being the one that like is pretty much in charge of, the decisions that you make. And it's not, your mom or a teacher, telling you now, you have to do this and you have to do that. It's really something that you have to grow into and be more independent. And so, those are all things that happened in a matter of a year. But it's also a learning process that, goes the span of the 4 years. And it's something that isn't learned in a week or a month. So those are challenges that you'll find, as their journey continues. And it's something that, you definitely learn from at the end of the day. And, you can see your growth as time goes. And so it's definitely something that I'm grateful that I was able to go through as well.
Well said. And what I heard from all of our panelists was tenacity. You're going to encounter challenges whether you go to college or not. Life is a challenge. So the question is, who can support you through that? Ask for help. Number two, remain flexible and you may get overwhelmed, but reach out to those who have similar experiences as you and learn from those who don't. And that's what I'm hearing your peers say is you're going to encounter people who have more money than you. Okay. So what can you learn from them who have less money? So you're going to be that's part of the educational process. You're going to be exposed to some different things. And the workload they talked about is going to slam you. And the question is, how can you respond to that? It's all about your resilience. And then most importantly, I thought Elviana talked about the financial component and who can we reach out to? And thankfully we have Gear Up and great counselors at Lawrence High, and don't ever feel ashamed to come back to us and reach out to us because the financial aspect, we want to make sure you make it through. That should not be an excuse for anyone not to get their education. I'm going to check in with Ms. Wall because I think we're running right up around that timeline. How are we doing as far as time? I think I got a 5-minute warning. Let's see. I may be right in there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So CCP should be ending shortly. But if there are a few more questions you want to go through, feel free. If not, we can end here. This panel was amazing. Thank you so much to our students, our alumni for coming back. We are so proud of everything that you have been doing and working on. And I will see everybody from Lawrence High School tomorrow for day 2 of College Week. We hope to continue this great conversation throughout the rest of the week. Please feel free to email me if you have questions or want to follow up with any of our students, we are happy to connect you with them, and I'm sure they're happy to connect with any students who would like to speak with them.
You got
Thank
it.
you so much.
I'll just say to our panelists, once again, you are all extremely talented and we're all very proud of you. And just as we wind things down, I'll just ask, does anyone panelists have any last sort of word of advice or thought? I'll go right down the line. Any quick thing they want to wrap up with? Manassas, anything you want to leave our students with?
Absolutely. You are the representation of Lawrence and Lawrence High, and you guys got this. Nothing can stop you.
Awesome. How about yourself, Eliana?
I would say enjoy yourself, make these connections, make friends, and do other things. But also remember that, you know, higher education is awesome, but you don't have to feel pressure to go into it if it's not the journey for you.
Well said. A lot of opportunity out there. And what about you, Dario?
I definitely would like everyone to kind of know that you don't have to be perfect along this process. You know, none of us were. And so, you know, you're bound to make mistakes. And when those mistakes do happen, you know, take them in and, you know, kind of learn from them, you know, make sure that you're looking at the greater image at the end of the day. And so with that being said, I hope you guys, you know, take advantage of your freshman and sophomore years and plan for the next 4 years or the next 10 and, you know, look for something at the end of the tunnel because it's definitely there.
Well said. I'm so proud of all these students, as is the entire Lawrence community. I'm grateful to be able to just meet you and host everything. And students who are listening to this, once again, we hope this gave you some great information. We're very proud of you for being a part of it. Once again, my name is Robert Days with the Gear Up program. Just very proud to partner with Lawrence on all these initiatives. So we hope you have a great college week. And so with that, I'll say thank you for your time and attention, and hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the day and year.